Okay. So, yeah. Well, I guess first thing would be, I think I'm going to start reminding people, if anybody is watching, to just put it at double speed. I mean, if you want. I mean, I don't know. If I'm doing long videos, not that you're not aware of the the option to put it at double speed, but it's it's if I'm doing a long video, it's easier to watch it that way. And so yeah, I have to finish my brick dust project, and I'll tell you why. But let me show you these bricks first. So this is like great. This is so great. I want to really pick the reddest ones also. They're a little more red in real life than they're showing on the camera. But anyways, let's see. Here's a red one. So yeah. So anyways, so I have to finish this soon. And the reason is, which I will go into. But basically, it's because these witches, dude, they just keep showing up, man. So this is a problem. This is a problem for me. So let me explain. I know I sound super paranoid, so I'll go into some of my paranoia. And because even though I might be paranoid, it doesn't mean they are not to get me, right? Okay, so anyways, all right, so there's this one gal that is a problem. She's a problem, dude. And so I'll go into explaining this. So how do I do? Okay. All right. So this gal is a big problem. So I'm in this town where all of this took place, and it's a very small town. And then all these people that my psycho ex was involved with, they're all the same. They're all just problem people. See, that was her whole idea, was if she gets mixed in with a bunch of like problem people, that will solve any issue that she might have with me. And I'll explain this further because it makes sense, you know. So because she conspired against me and all this like totally psycho shit, she knew that she would need protection. She would, you know, because of her paranoia. Think of it this way. If I knew you, right, and say we were even friends, you got to a point where I became your friend, right, or so you thought, and the whole time I conspired against you and I completely fucked you over for like absolutely no reason. The only reason is because I thought it would be fun and I would get some cheap thrills or something like that out of it. And so then I burn your house down and do all this shit and totally fuck you over just completely out of the blue, you know. What do you think? You think I might feel like I might need some protection against you? Especially if I'm conspiring and I'm planning all this out. Well, of course I'm going to be trying to figure out, okay, how do I protect myself in the event that you attempt to retaliate for me burning your place down and trying to, you know, frame you for murder or whatever kind of crazy, insane shit that I do to you, you know. So this was her big idea, which is why she got involved with the witch cult, one of the reasons. And so she's got all these people. She made sure that she had all these people, and then she had her narrative, you know, I'm the big bad wolf, you know. She used the feminism kind of thing to. So anyways, so she's associating with all these like totally fucking like stupid people like this, including the witches themselves. Some of them are likely not yet witches, but they're like Wiccans, or you know, but the majority of them are, they're witches, and they're just that like problem people. They're trafficking fucking meth, and just and so that she would have something that on that I would potentially be afraid of, you know, because that's what it's all about, fear, like I was saying before. Witches, they thrive on fear. That's what everything is about. And so that's what that was all about, was invoking fear in me. And so anyways, so I know who the majority of her so-called friends are, which is another thing. It's a joke. That's a joke that they're her friends, is the funniest thing. Like, they're gonna fuck her over so bad if they haven't already. Like, it's just like whatever, right? So anyways, so I know who the people are that she's associated with. And they're starting to show up where I'm staying now. So this is a problem. So what it is I have neighbors. They're like my coworkers, okay? And they only come here, you know, during the season. So they're not as aware of the witch cult thing out here. They probably don't even know about it at all. And so they don't know, because they don't know, they're associated with some of them. Because they don't know what's going on, you know. And they're not going to believe me if I were to tell them, but I don't know them, so I'm not going to tell them. Anyways, because I don't know them, you know. If I tell them, they could go back and tell the very people that I'm trying to, you know, remain confident in. I don't want those people. I don't want to be on those people's radar at all, so I'm not taking any chances. But anyways, so they're starting to show up here, and one of them in particular. So my psycho witch ex, I got into her Facebook a couple times, and that's how I found out who these people are that she's associated with. That's how I was able to find a lot of information out using Facebook. And any and all of her Facebook friends that are locals here, the majority of them are either witches, or they are the witches use them. They're like useful idiots. So there are useful idiots that don't know of the witch thing, and the witches use them to get information and stuff, because this is a small town, and there's a lot of covert shit going on with all this as well. But anyways, and so there's one of her Facebook friends in particular has been showing up here, and I just realized yesterday that it's because that hold on, let me make sure that they can't hear me. I doubt they can, but let's see. No, I don't think they can. But anyways, so so this girl, which is one of my psycho ex's associates, is dating one of my neighbors. And this is what's crazy. So this girl, she's the one that's like got a really big following on Facebook, because she's got a nice body, and she's blonde, and so she's always acting like a whore on her Facebook page to get all of her followers. So she's got all these she's a thought. And so all these simps and cucks follow her on Facebook. So she's got a pretty good sized following, right? But she's a resident here. And so she was with some guy like the whole time that I knew of her, which I never, whatever. I mean, I didn't know her. I met her once or twice. She's very strange. Like, her personality is very, in the sense of like very, very stupid. Like, she's like super dumb. A typical kind of like the blonde kind of thing, like really, really dense. Okay. When I met her, like, she's so stupid that it was shocking to me. Where I was like, oh my god, like, how do you respond to such level of stupidity? So but anyways, so she's with some guy, and she ended up getting pregnant by him, and had his kid and everything. And so I didn't even know that. I didn't know. I just assumed she was with him, that she's still with him, because they have a child together. The child's only like a year and a half or maybe 2 years old at most. But so of course she's already left him and is banging my neighbor, right? Totally insane. Because another thing that's really crazy about this, my boss told me like a month and a half ago or a month ago that one of my coworkers like fucked her a bunch of times while she was with her husband just after she had her child. One of my coworkers, and he's not like he's not there. He's just kind of a dorky. He's a really cool guy. I like him a lot, but like he's like kind of dorky and whatever, you know. And he was driving the Penske truck for my job, and they were in this town, and then she ended up needing a ride out to like Tucson or whatever. And so he gave her a ride in the Penske truck, and then they were just chit-chatting and talking along the ride from here to Tucson, which is like a 3.5, 4-hour drive. And he was able to, because she's so stupid, he was able to coerce her into fucking him. And then they got a hotel room on the way there, and they fucked like a bunch. Like and I think he probably paid her too, so she's a prostitute. Because there's no way. Like, this guy, my coworker, he's just like a real dorky, goofy guy. But my boss was telling me this, and I was like, no fucking way. I'm like, dude, she has a kid and everything. And my boss like, I know. And she was cheating on the father of her child with this guy who's a total, like, my coworker is like it's like Revenge of the Nerds kind of shit, dude. Like, my coworker is a total nerd. So anyways, but so this gal, she is one of the people on my Psycho X's Facebook friends list, which all of those, anybody that's friends with my Psycho X that's in this town, that's a resident in this town, is automatically on my blacklist. They are automatically my enemy. I do not have it, and I don't care. But I know that a lot of them are self-proclaimed witches, and she's in that group, right? So she's been showing up here, which is one of the reasons why I was excited when I found these bricks to make brick dust. So she's been showing up here, and at first I didn't know why. I just thought, well, she must be friends with my neighbor or something. But I only just found out yesterday she's fucking one of my neighbors. And dude, like, these people, I'm telling you, they are dangerous as fuck. Even if they are just useful, she could be a useful idiot, but she's so close to these self-proclaimed witches that I can't, but she is dumb. So it's hard to say, but it doesn't matter, because they're just as dangerous. Any useful idiots of a witch cult are just as dangerous as the witches themselves, possibly even more. And so, I'm pretty sure that she's probably figured out who I am, because she also is probably asking my coworker, like, who's that guy? And then when he tells her my name, then she's gonna probably know my name. And so she's probably figured out that I am who I am, which is definitely not good. And so anyways, so on top of that, there's other fucking hippies that are showing up here because my neighbors are hippies. Dude, hippies are not like the hippies of the 60s. Modern day so-called hippies are nothing like the hippies of the 60s and shit. They are just toxic, dangerous people. They really, truly are, and especially out here in this town. If I told you, if you knew what the snitch situation was out here in this town, you don't even know, man. Like the number of snitches in this town, which are all hippies. These are all these young hippies that get busted with, you know, with a bag of meth, or they get busted trafficking drugs, and they make a deal with the feds to be a rat. And the amount of rats that are in this town during the season, because I might have to reiterate, so every winter there's like at least 600,000 or 700,000 people in this tiny town for 2.5, 3 months out of the year. Then the rest of the year, you're lucky if you got 1,000 people in this town. See, you see what I'm saying? So during the winter, all those rats come to town because there's all kinds of drug shit going on here and everything else. So you got lots of feds, and they're all hippies. They're all hippies and hipsters, all these feds. And dude, you would be surprised. I would even be surprised, because I know there's a lot of them, but I think it's probably, I think a conservative estimate is about half of the hippies and hipsters that come here are all fucking rats for the feds. I'm not, and I know that sounds unbelievable. Dude, everything that goes on in this town is unbelievable. I'm not kidding you. It's like, so anyways, so my neighbors who are my coworkers are fucking hippies. And so all these hippies are showing up here. And fucking half of them are fucking witches, or somehow associated with the witch cult and with my fucking ex. And so I was planning on just like keeping a low profile and just kind of working this job and staying out of the public eye, which is no problem. I mean, I'm used to that. I don't really, there isn't anything to do here anyways. I've lived here for 4.5 years. I already know everything this town has to offer, and it doesn't have anything to offer me at all. It's all bullshit. Everything about this town is total bullshit. So but I'm still going to be more conscious of keeping a low profile. But the only thing is this town is so small, it's like impossible to keep a low profile. It's impossible. Like this fucking witch is like walking right past. She's like 3 feet from my fucking door, walking right past my place. And pretty sure she already knows who I am. So if she does, then she's already telling my psycho ex that I'm here, which is what I don't want. I don't want my psycho ex to even think of even a thought of me to even cross her head. I just don't. I don't want nothing, absolutely nothing to do with her. She's like a demon. She's demon possessed. And like that Malachi, that exorcist guy named Malachi, who was interviewed on Art Bell, he's like one of the most famous exorcists. You know, he says in the interview that when he detects a person that is demon possessed, he fucking ghosts. He stays away from him. You know, he only performs exorcisms when he's called to do so. But in the meantime, he'll encounter all kinds of demon possessed people, and as soon as he realizes they're demon possessed, he stays away from them. But see, this town is so fucking tiny. This town is so fucking small, and everybody's always up in everyone else's business because it's such a tiny ass town that you can't get away from a demon possessed person, or it would be very difficult to do, you know, without leaving the town, completely leaving the town. So this is kind of what I'm dealing with. This is the kind of insanity I'm dealing with this shit. So this chick is like coming around my fucking place. She was over here yesterday, dude. And that's when I realized that she's actually fucking dating my neighbor, which is going to make it even. I thought maybe she'd just come around because she's friendly acquaintances with my neighbors. So my neighbors, it's a couple, and then their son. And their son is staying in a separate RV next to mine. And that's who she's fucking, is their son. And I just found this out yesterday because she'd been coming around, and I did videos on it once or twice, but I didn't expect she'd be just like a regular over here. So you see what I'm saying? And these fucking, I'm telling you guys, you don't understand, man. This bitch is a fucking witch. At the very least, she's one of these witch cults, useful idiots. Which even the self-proclaimed witches are useful idiots, because it's all based in hierarchy. And so I'm just like fucking like, dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. But I'm making this brick dust so I can complete the circle around my trailer. And I know it sounds crazy and everything else. I'll tell you what. I'll take any help I can get at this point. I'm not afraid, not out of fear. I just understand the seriousness of this witch shit, dude. Like, this is not a fucking joke, man. Like, when fucking Call for an Uprising is covering witches, I don't know how much he realizes he's right either. I don't know how much of it is just a shtick for him or whatever. I'm not saying either way. I'm not casting judgment on him, but I don't know the guy either. But you know, some of his videos, I've seen a few where he fucking hits the head on the fucking nail on this witch shit. And I know because I fucking experienced it. And then he's talking about the exact shit that I saw. So I know he's putting out some real shit, dude. Whether he knows he is or not, I don't know. But anyway, So yeah, it may seem stupid for me to do the brick dust thing, but I would argue otherwise. Because also my friend, she really is, dude. She really is knowledgeable on this stuff, a lot more than I am, and a lot more than most people I've encountered, even on videos and everything else. Like, just living in New Orleans for years, you get you get familiarized with voodoo. I was only visited there for like a week, and they're like open voodoo practitioners. They don't try to hide it or nothing. Like, voodoo is a common thing in New Orleans. And I know my friend. And I know she's not down with voodoo and shit, but she's very knowledgeable on the occult. She studied a lot on the occult. And because she lived in New Orleans for years, it only advanced her studies. Like, I heard she was studying the occult shit when I knew her, and she's not per se like a witch. I mean, she's not. And me and her have a pretty close relationship. Like, so she wouldn't intentionally steer me wrong. There were some other things that she suggested, but I didn't really like. One of them was kind of like to associate with anything that's light, like certain crystals that are, which is hard for me to do because I'm like kind of a dark person. So she was even suggesting that I listen to like music that's positive, and I don't. Like, I listen to fucking, metal and shit. And stuff. And so some of the things she's suggesting is stuff that for me would be difficult. like listening to positive music and associating with light, you know, which I'm just a dark person in general, and I have been for a lot of my life. And then, so anyways, I'm going to bug her and ask her if there's other stuff that she knows that I can do. And maybe even inquire a little bit as to how she found out about brick dust. But anyway, so I'm going to be needing, dude, if I were smart, I would get a fucking fat ass bag of this shit before I leave this town. I know I sound paranoid and crazy, man. I'm telling you guys though, bro. This witch shit is no joke, man. These people, man. Fucking crazy. Anyway, so maybe I got enough brick dust. I don't know, I probably talked too much already.